Drayton Manor is an amusement park in the United Kingdom that's also home to Thomas Land, a place that at face value honestly looks kind of fun. I can't say I've ever been, but the Thomas theme seems to be very well respected. The models and rideable characters of the engines all seem very well made, which in a way almost feels contradictory, as Thomas Land is also home to the Discover Thomas and Friends exhibition. I honestly probably don't have to tell you much about this place. Most fans of Thomas know about the atrocities that have taken place in this exhibition, but for those who don't, let me give a quick explanation. In early 2009, Hit Entertainment would announce that the models from the live-action television series would now basically be put on display at Discover Thomas and Friends, as the show's production was actually moved to Canada, now that the series was to be animated with CG animation. The exhibit itself would open up in July of 2009, and various props from the show were on display. At a face value, the layout itself actually looks kinda nice in my opinion, though incredibly inaccurate to how the set actually looked. But the real issue itself lies in the treatment of these props. The models themselves have clearly not been respected, and as time has went on, things have only seemed to get worse. It would take more than a lifetime to go through everything that's happened to these engines since they've been put in this exhibit. Though some models were sent back to Hit Entertainment themselves, for example Harvey, and apparently some engines are going through some form of restoration, most of the models in this exhibit lay in a very sorry state, something that normally really hurts us hardcore fans. Knowing that this is how some of the models that we grew up watching are being treated, it's really not a great feeling. And today we're going to be going through just some of these atrocities. I'd also highly advise you guys to take a look at some of the sources that I'm going to put in the description. They will detail what happened to these models much better than I'm going to be able to do. But for now, let's take a look at just some of the darker side of Drayton Manor. The poor handling of these models has actually gone on for years, and Drayton Manor has refused to respond as to why. Just looking at this image alone should be pretty clear, they really don't care about these models. As you can see here, Thomas is missing his lamp irons, and was also missing a tail lamp, but another one has been put back on him since August of 2020. Between 2009 and 2011, Thomas wouldn't actually have any coal in his bunker, and for some reason they would replace his screen-used face with a replica. They would also do the same for Edward and Toby. As you can see here, Thomas's body has went through a lot of damage. There's a lot of discoloration, his buffers have been what looks like smashed to bits, and his nice paint job has been scuffed everywhere. Not to mention that same replica face has clearly been damaged as well. The Edward model is a similar story. Edward is actually missing his right lamp iron, brake pipe, backhead, tinder axle boxes, and whistle. His eyebrows would rub off sometime in 2015. Just like Thomas, his paintwork has basically been ruined. Though sometime in 2020, him and Thomas were both pulled off of the layout, supposedly for restoration, so hopefully they'll go back and actually fix these things. In 2020, the exhibit would bring in several new characters, one of these actually being Class 40. Class 40 is wearing his sad face here, but that same face is actually held on with black tack, and as you can see here is visibly sliding down, though thankfully for now that seems to be the only real issue that he sustains. At a time, the Stepney model was also on display. He would sport his original chuckling face, though in 2014 his entire front coupler would actually fall off. His front end also sustains very visible damage. I unfortunately wasn't able to figure out why he was removed from the exhibit exactly, but if any of you guys have an idea, be sure to let me know down in the comments. The Rosie model, despite having very clear damage to the front end just like Stepney, has long since stopped working. The entire motor inside of her is actually given out. It's almost as if the more you look at this picture, the more damage you're able to see has been done to her body. Though unfortunately it could be argued that Rosie is more of a mild case. Rosie has also been taken off of the exhibit for restoration. As most of you already know, the original Toby model from Drayton Manor was actually stolen. It's not known what actually became of the model or let alone who took it. However, it is known that when Toby was first put out on display, he was sporting his original grinning face, which now likely will also be lost to time. The original rolling stock that the exhibit features is also known to have its fair share of problems. Several wagons and coaches can be seen missing buffers, and oftentimes is left to sit and collect dust. Besides Thomas and Edward, Bulgy and Trevor have also since been removed from the layout. Every chassis from every original engine has since been replaced, and though things are somewhat on an up and up, the overall disgust that the Thomas and Friends community has for the treatment of these models still remains and likely will not be going anywhere. That is until these engines do, at some point. My goal with this video isn't to just completely knock this exhibit, though it should be known that the treatment of these models has not been proper, and that's really saying the least. In 2020, we would see Drayton Manor somewhat buckle down, and what I mean by this is they actually tried to go back and apparently fix some of these mistakes, this being with the restoration of Thomas and Edward and other models like that. And honestly, they do deserve a kudos for that. They really could have just left these models the way that they were, or even have continued to let them get worse. However, my whole squabble with it is why did you let these models get to this state in the first place? I've never handled a Gauge 1 or original Thomas prop shop, but you can bet your ass that I've handled plenty of model trains, and it's really not that complicated. And to think that these aren't just model trains. Like, this isn't just a Bachmann Thomas that's going around a pretty layout. This is one of the Thomas models, and you guys seem to want to handle it like it's a take-along, and like you guys are a bunch of 3-year-olds just throwing it around to each other. In a way, I guess it's good to still see that these props are in use somehow. I and the rest of the Thomas and Friends community just wish it was by somebody who actually cared about what they were doing. And if you guys really do care about what you're doing a very shitty job at showing it. But again, hey, at least they're going back and trying to fix at least some of what they've done. If you guys want to see more of these videos, be sure to let me know down in the comments. I've really only scratched the surface of what Drayton Manor's done to some of these models, and if you guys want to hear more about it, I would definitely love to talk about it. It's extremely unlikely, but here's to hoping somebody at Drayton Manor hears this and gets their shit together. Until then though, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.